Okay, thank you, Fezi. So first of all, to ground this in context, my name is Wangui Mwangi. I'm the founding chair of Green Biophilic Living Society. We call it GBLS because, well, the letter is quite a mouthful. And Wangui, in context, is a Kikuyu name. The Kikuyu tribe is found in Kenya, and Wangui means the lead singer in a group of singers, and the song that we're singing is Biophilia. And when you look up the meaning of Wangui, you'll also be taken to the understanding that Wangui also meant this person that could break necks, break men's necks because of her beauty. And I mean, look at me. Isn't that obvious? So I'm really happy to be having this conversation. My heart is full. In equal measure, I'm really exhausted because this has really been a lot of work, and it's really satisfying work. You asked about the conference and how I experienced it, and what I feel about it. The conference was beautiful, and I wish we had a different name apart from a conference, because this is more than a conference. This is a gathering of very intentional people in wanting to achieve a lot of intentionality in how we build, in how we live, in how we think, and this is not just about buildings. This is just where we've begun. This is just the tip of the iceberg. It gets deeper and deeper when you get into regeneration, when you get into living in harmony with nature. For the conference, my goodness, it was lovely. It was beautiful. It was beyond what we envisioned and expected in terms of the amount of support that we received. And when I talk about support, I mean, there are people that we met 2 weeks to the conference who were sold on exhibiting, who were sold on speaking, who were sold on investing. Strangers who have become friends, and strangers who believed in this vision just by one phone call, one conversation. So the conference was so beautiful. There was everybody who we envisioned to have. That is government, civil society, the youth, the elders. Everybody was represented. People who were not in the built environment were represented because this touched them, in a way that means this does not just belong to the built environment. I'm a bit disappointed that I was not present in the hall most of the time because there were other conversations happening outside, and I really wish to have sat through the panels, different interviews, the different conversations. So I really wish I was there, but I know I'll get to watch this, from the filming that was done. And as much as I feel disappointed I wasn't there, I also feel happy because in the first conference I had to be in the room. I was in the room most of the time. I didn't interact with people outside because people wanted to see Wangui. People felt safe when they saw Wangui at the front because this is the first time the conversation was happening, and they were quite unsure, am I saying the right thing? So it's a bittersweet feeling. I'm happy that the conversation is now proceeding without me having to be in the room. I'm equally sad I didn't get to see it in real time, but my heart is full that people are now starting to understand what this is about. And as much as they might not have seen the full circle, there are people seeing it, and there are people who can't wait for us to grow this together. So bringing that gathering of people together, the deco in the room, Kitengela glass, bambusa, the VIP room, like bringing biophilia into life and helping people see that. Oh my goodness, it's so fulfilling. Yeah.
You mentioned that at as much as it was a conference about the built environment, and we're using the term conference loosely, it was a gathering.
Yes.
It felt like bringing people together to the village square, and like you mentioned that there were elders, there were artists. The government also came and was represented, and I think that is really powerful to have our government not beginning but getting involved in an initiative that is about bringing life into the built environment.
Yeah.
So in the conversations that we're having, it was particularly centered around professionals in the built environment, with architects and engineers and interior designers and what they call them QS, quantity surveyors. But there was also artists, those people in the health field. There was also elders from the community. And what I saw from it was that this conference, the built environment, is not necessarily about building, but it's about building our ecosystem together. And this conference particularly was rooted in Kenya, but it was projecting a resonance with the rest of the African continent.
Yeah.
So it's bringing all of the African continent into the conversation about what it looks like when we build a society that is alive. Interestingly, one special thing to me that was really special was that the womb was brought into the environment, because the womb is the environment that nurtures human life. I mean, also other animals have wombs.
Yeah.
Fruit trees have wombs.
Yeah.
They produce seeds. And so when you say that you were not able to participate in all the conversations, what you have done successfully at the first conference was bring a womb for us to all come in and seed our ideas and our thoughts about what Africa could look like when we seed it with biophilia.
Yeah.
And so I think you can rest easy knowing that you birthed something and it produced fruit, and this baby has grown so quickly that it didn't need you to be at every single conversation.
Yeah.
And you could go and nurture and tend to the parts of the ecosystem that needed the most care. And you have also been able to reproduce yourself in your team, in supporters, in investors who are saying, Wangui, you don't have to carry this thing by yourself. We will take a part of each part of this entity that is the Biophilic Society in Africa.
Yeah.
And we together are going to work to see that it bears fruit. So I think you can rest easy that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but there's one thing that you said at the conference. When you were speaking, and I love that the government was there. You said that this initiative began because you had been walking on the streets of Nairobi and you were angered by what you had seen, the injustice. You know, there was a panel that where we had a conversation about regulation and policy, and you said that you were angered by what you saw on the streets of Nairobi in terms of the injustice in the building environment. And so even as policy is being framed, we are looking, the Green Biophilic Society, maybe you can talk about how the Green Biophilic Society is bringing justice, is bringing living, active, regenerative justice into the built environment, not only in Kenya but across the continent.
Yeah.
Okay.
You talked about the womb.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the womb, I think about women and I think about the female. Yeah. And I've really been pegged on, wanting matrifocal values to be anchored in our governance systems. And what is that? That is care. That is regeneration. That is community, what women do. And that is what is lacking in the way we govern, in the way we live. All these values have been put in a corner and made to feel like, this is just soft issues. This is not even important. It's just soft, beautiful things that you just put on top, But this is the center of most of our problems. And you talk about Green Biophilic Living Society and the government and the anger that I've been carrying. And my goodness, the anger, it's been real. And sometimes I wonder to myself, how is this normal? And I'll deviate a little bit from the question. Recently I was in an Uber and I was heading home. So I was seated at the back and the Uber driver was taking soda. So he finished his soda and he just threw the bottle outside and I lost it. I've really been having a lot of anger. I don't know how to contain it or how to release it. And maybe this is happening through the society. And I asked him to stop and I asked him to reverse. So I didn't even tell him why. I just asked, simama, turudi nyuma. So we went back up to where the bottle had rolled to. And I told him to get out of the car and take the bottle. Otherwise, I was going to make a fracas about this whole situation. So he stepped outside and he picked the bottle and he was like, Madam, pole, ni chupa moja tu, madam. Hey, as in, hey, madam, mbona una overreact? And I told him, your bottle, because the river was just down by where I was living in Rwaka. And I told him, this one bottle that you've thrown away is the same bottle that will go to the river, is the same bottle that will come at, where you're getting from Rwaka, in the drainages, will block the drainages.
Yes.
And then we are having a flooding problem caused by you.
Yeah.
And 3 other drivers. I mean, I wonder, like, why are people not seeing these things? I have conversations with my dad when I'm going to Rongai, where I grew up, which was a forest, look like this. And there's trash everywhere. And I tell my dad, why is this happening? Aren't people mad selling? Mama mbogas are selling in the soko next to the sewage. There's a goat passing by in a cooler. It's eating that trash. It's eating the paper bag. There's a duck swimming and drinking the sewage water. And during Christmas, we will eat that goat. We will eat the duck. I mean, aren't we losing our minds over this? And my dad says, that is the work of Kanjo, county government. That is the work of the government. But then, how did we get here? Collectively.
Yeah.
Government, developers, me as Wangui, you, we all got here collectively. So we can't just sit and blame the government or Wangui or the Mamamboga. No, we have to collectively deal with this because it's killing all of us with all the diseases that are coming up. It was really important to have government in that setting because I respect and I love Wangari Maathai. I respect all the activists that have been there pushing for nature and getting into fights over nature. But I'm tired. I'm tired of activism, and as much as I respect their work, it needs to get to a point where this is anchored in how we govern. It's not just about activism anymore. And how do you do that? Policy integration, policy incorporation. And this is where GBLS is bringing, that dignity and that justice, and not just for the human beings, for the more than human, because I said bio is life. Life is not just about me or you as a human being. Life is about the birds and the butterflies and the dogs, and it's not just about us.
Yeah.
We've been given a huge responsibility to take care of the planet, not to destroy and to extract it. And so policy that captures this, and I'm really happy that government is understanding this, and the draft green building standards in Kenya have now incorporated this, have incorporated wildlife, that we need to take care of the corridors as we're building. You need to have spaces that bring life or give life to bees and butterflies and pollinators. And this has been a push as Wangui, as GBL, as GBLS, and starting to see that this is being understood, and starting to see that GBLS is now really stamping its foot and taking up that authority to speak for life